Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's your man HRap coming at you live and direct. This is Built for This Network. How you doing? Good evening, good morning, good night, good afternoon. I'm accurate at some point in the world. I got a worldwide audience, so I must be accurate. Thank you for tuning in to Built for This Network. This is Build and Destroy, where we having conversations about how to build up our community and destroy the lies of propaganda that come with being black. Sorry. Now, with that being said, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I am HRap B, and you know how I start each one of my shows. I acknowledge my ancestors, because without them, there is no me. So, my ancestors as well as my family. The family that I include, if I exclude you, sorry, charge to my head, not my heart. Now, if you want to see me, go to the end of the bench on youtube.com. And if you just want to listen, continue to listen to the link. Please hit like and subscribe on YouTube. Hit thumbs up. If you're on Spreaker.com, hit the like button, and we can continue from there. Now, as far as my family, it's the Whitmore family. Pollard, Turner, Battle, Cotton, Bailey, Harper, Chris, Lansdowne, Liggins, Duncan, and everybody understands that me, my brothers, my sisters, my mothers, and my father, we the Williams clan, we're in the building. Thank you for tuning in. If you're tuned in either way, or if you're coming in late and hot, or if you get to leave early, you can always catch us back on Spreaker.com. Look for Built for This Network. You can check me and all my label mates. Then you can go to YouTube.com, Built for This Network Radio, or Data the Bench. Then you can go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Castbox, Deezer, as well as Podcast Addict, or wherever you download your podcast. Shout out to us with dope. That's what time it is. Now, let's get this show on. I want to thank everybody in the chat room. I want to thank everybody in the who are background listeners. You know, in a little while, I may even open up the phone lines so you can communicate with us. Well, communicate with me. There is no us today. And then we'll get this thing popping. You know, if you heard the beginning of the show, I hope you did. I really hope you did. And it basically gives you an example of what happened a week ago Wednesday was not a unique situation. As a matter of fact, what happened Wednesday happened 100 years ago in May. May 31st will be 100 years since the most popular Black massacre in America. And when I say popular, that's because a lot of folks believe that's the only time that happened. You got Peoria, Illinois. You got Compton, California, Watts. You got Liberty City, Florida. You have Wilmington, South Carolina that they spoke about. You have Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And all you have to do is simply Google Red Summer. Well, from May of 1919 until October of 1919, white men in this country went around this country upset that we wasn't, Boston anymore, and we were not praising them, and we were not afraid of them anymore because we just saved y'all ass for the third time. Revolutionary War saved y'all ass. People don't realize that George Washington and his crew almost died until a black man showed them how to immunize against smallpox, and bam, here we are. Winter. Civil War, the exact same thing. They were losing the war until they they signed the emancipation. Once they signed the emancipation, because please believe nobody freed us. Stop that lie. We're gonna kill that lie going forward. End of the bench, we're going to kill that lie. Nobody freed us. We freed ourselves. And then 1865, he allowed us to have arms. 5 months later, you know the rest. We win the war, get screwed again. And World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf Wars, whatever, every time you turn around, we're saving their asses. And if you don't like what I'm saying, sucks to be you. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to be coming to joint apologetic about my history and my people. Y'all know I love my people. I don't hate anybody, and I'm not going to ever say that again. I'm never gonna say that again. I don't hate anybody, because if you think my pride destroys you, that's your problem, not mine. I'm never gonna say that again. And I know I've said that before, but I'm gonna make sure I never say that again, because it's insulting to me. It's insulting to my intelligence. And if you are stupid enough to believe I have time in my life to hate anybody, then you're too stupid to listen to my show. Period. There it is. Period. Full stop. Let's get this show on the road. But as I was saying, the topic of the show highlighted the insurrection in Wilmington, where you had a town predominantly run by people that look like me and you, and the people that look like other people had a serious problem with that situation. As you heard, people went out of their way to destroy us. They went out of their way to destroy us. I just put the link for the YouTube channel in the chat room on Spreaker.com. So if you want to come over and check me out, please do so. But as I was saying, the thing that happened 2 weeks ago is the thing that happened 2 weeks ago is not an anomaly. This isn't a one-off. This isn't something that, hey man, we don't know what the hell's going on. Yes, you do. You know exactly what's going on. You know exactly what's going on, and it's not unique. It's not something that we've never seen before, and you just heard it. Look, when you're dealing with people who are wicked and evil, what they do is go out of their way to destroy everything about you that's positive. See, when you destroy someone's history, they don't know how great they are. Like, okay, for years, I didn't know my father was a basketball player. I didn't know my father did anything. I was too afraid, because he died before I was born. I was too afraid to ask my mom. I knew the details of his death, so I didn't ask him a lot. So guess what? I played basketball. I was extremely athletic. I didn't really hone my skills in basketball, because it really wasn't a big deal to me. I got an uncle named Richard, though. I knew his past. I knew Richard played with the Spurs. I knew Richard went to an HBCU. I knew Richard did a lot of things, and those are some of the things that I did. As a matter of fact, this beard on my face is because my Uncle Richard had a beard when I was a little boy, and I was like, gonna grow me a beard like Uncle Richard. See, when you know your history, you'll be able to build your life around whatever you're trying to do, because you'll understand that if this guy and my family was able to accomplish that, then damn it, I can do it too. Nothing will intimidate me. Nothing will slow me down. Nothing will stop me, because it has been done, and it hasn't been done by somebody from 18,000 years ago, 1,800 years ago, 18 years ago. It was by somebody that I can reach out and touch and I can talk to. That's why your history is always being blurred. That's why the only thing they tell you that you are a slave. First of all, no human being is a slave. Let's establish that. No human being is a slave. You are a human being forced into indentured servitude. Period. Point blank. Full stop. Let's go. Now, if you're forced into indentured servitude and you're forced to do something against your will, there is an innate ability in the human construct that will not allow him to be in bondage forever. If you don't believe me, why do you think they created the police department? Because there were people who were in bondage, enslaved ancestors were like, hey, oh, you looking that way? I'm going this way, and I'm running hard. You see what I'm saying? You know, you hear stories about our great ancestor, Harriet Tubman, but that was a man before her, and there was women before her as well. But see, you never hear about that, because they want you to believe that she was this anomaly, and the other people who were enslaved were just happy with their conditions and did not want to get away. No, quite the contrary. Our brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, and relatives did everything they could to escape the bondage called slave, the U.S. chattel slave. They did everything they could. Some people were afraid to do it. Some people said, hey, I'm going to deal with it until, and other people just said, look, if I have to die, so be it. With that being said, these people in the country, in this space called the United States of America, this lets you know those dudes who stormed the Capitol building built by our ancestors, again, built by our ancestors, those people were not different than their ancestors, just like we're not different from ours. If you want to beat us and stomp us into the ground, at some point we will rise up and destroy you. Shout out to my late great cousin, Mac Turner. Indeed. So, again, when you hear the news, well, the entertainment news, that's what I call it at this point. When you hear CNN and MSNBC and Fox and all these people say, these people, this is a unique situation, they're attacking the government. You just heard of an instance in which these same people's ancestors did the exact same thing and they destroyed us. They destroyed people in our community, and their entire get down was fear. They based everything on the fear of them destroying you, the fear of them reaching out and attempting to hurt you and your family, and you did what you had to do to survive when you did that, right? So for someone to be as disingenuous as the modern news today and say, hey, we've never seen anything like this, this is a one-off, they attempt to know, this is exactly what white men do throughout the history of the world. When you don't get your way, when things don't unfold the way you think they should unfold, because you have this so-called privilege created in your head. And what is whiteness? What is whiteness a real thing? Do you understand whiteness is as American as apple pie? Because apple pie existed before whiteness. When you got over here, you wasn't black until you got off that boat. Your ancestors were not black until they got off that boat. They were Nigerian. They were from Kemet. They were from Kush. They were from wherever they were from. That's what they were. People identified by their nationality, not by their color. Because, see, it's just the whole get down in which people will continue to minimize your importance in the universe in order to maintain some fictitious thing called white nationality. Because y'all know I do not use that terminology of white supremacy, because you're not supreme to anything or anybody. How can you be supreme and only thing you've invented is stealing, raping, and killing? Period. Every day, if you check your history books, you find out every day there's something that you thought some great white man invented, he stole it from a brother. I'm saying it. If anybody has a problem with it, that's your problem, not mine. But for people to sit around and tell you, hey man, I don't understand what's going on, I can't believe this. This is par for the course for the white man that's in America. Again, back to what I was saying. There's no such thing as a white person. White people don't exist. Now you got Europeans, you got people from Spain, you got people from Italy, you got people from United Kingdom, you got people Germany or wherever, Polish people, but none of them white. What is white? That's a made-up construct in order to establish dominance over anything and anybody. Well, I don't need, everybody should be treated equal. No, they shouldn't be. Everybody should be treated fairly, but equally means everybody is up under this white man, this fictitious white man, and everybody else is fighting for the scraps. So I'm gonna treat all y'all like trash. I'm gonna treat the Mexican like trash. I'm gonna treat the Indian like trash. I'm gonna treat the African like trash. I'm gonna treat South American like trash. Well, whoever comes around, I'm gonna treat them like trash. You're beneath me. And that's why when people insult the hell out you and tell you, I don't see color. How do you not see the most dominant thing about my personality and my being? How could you not see that? So now, insurrection is part of the American history. It's what the white man has done for 200 years, for more than 200, for 400 years. When it don't go his way, he killing everything in his way. Now, if you're a white man, listen to my show and you're offended, all you have to do is put in the chat room, one of these chat rooms, and say, you're wrong because, see, on this day, and you won't be able to give me a day. You won't. In this period of time, you won't be able to do that. You will not be able to do that. So I'm going to need you to do this. Listen, learn, educate yourself, evolve yourself, and put yourself in a position in which you can enrich the world instead of constantly destroy it. Now, I refuse to condemn all white people. I'm speaking in general. I'm speaking in generalities. And if you don't like it, I mean, I understand. But all you have to do is prove anything that I'm saying wrong, and then I shut up. I shut down my show. I never broadcast again. But we both know that won't happen. Now, with that being said, an insurrection took place in the United States of America. This is a violation of constitutional acts. Why did this happen? Because this construct called whiteness is being threatened by fairness and equality. Every time anyone steps up and says, hey, let's make this thing right, You find out that, nah, we don't want it to be right. We want to dominate. And what they do is intimidate, attempt to kill, steal, and rob anybody in their way. So when you do that, I just suffer the consequences. You don't even realize what Malcolm X said came true Wednesday. He had one of his most famous speeches. It's called the Ballot of the Bullet. The ballot or the bullet. He talks about we're gonna have to get down, we're gonna have to fight, or we're gonna have to vote. What we did is exercise the power that millions of us, oh well, man, that voting thing don't work. See, people don't get upset with you when you do things that don't work. If I flap my arms right now and attempt to fly away from my computer right now, nobody's gonna stop that because man, Rap has officially lost his damn mind. He's not gonna do anything but flap his arms and sit here for the rest of the evening and look like a damn fool if you're looking on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. We just getting to the show. I have officially dropped the link from YouTube in the chat room. Thank you for tuning in. And if you want to come to YouTube, please do. And if you want to stay in the Spreaker chat room, this is what I want you to do. Please hit the like button. Hit the share on your social media, whether it be Twitter and or Facebook, and then we can continue. Now, as I was stating, nobody threatens you when you're doing nothing. When you're wasting time, nobody does anything. But see, this vote thing actually worked finally. And y'all do understand that's just step one. The ballot thing only works if you follow it up with action, which is metaphorically the bullet. Metaphorically, the bullet is stand on top of your committeeman, stand on top of your alderman, stand on top of your state representative, stand on top of your state senator, stand on top of your U.S. senator, stand on top of your governors, and making sure the resources that are allocated through the United States federal government will be sent to your community. See, the thing is, we've been trained, vote, sit back and watch. No. See, we did that with Barack Obama. Everybody, Jesse Jackson, my man Jesse Jackson, our elder Jesse Jackson, sat out in a place in Chicago called Grant Park. He did the one Denzel Washington from Glory Tear. Everybody was happy. Oh man, we overcame. Shout out to our great ancestor and happy belated birthday to our ancestor, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. But everybody was like, oh man, we made it. And then we didn't ask Barack Obama for anything. And then we sit along the sidelines and say what he didn't do. And you know how you shut that down? Hey, bro, sister, he ain't doing anything. What you asked for? What did you want him to do? Oh, well, see, he did this for the Latinos. But what did you want him to do? He did this for the gays. What did you want him to do? If you don't have an answer for that, please don't complain. It's okay to be upset that he didn't do anything. It's okay to sit on the sideline and say what he should have done. Now, seeing how over the last 16 years we ain't getting anything done for us. We didn't quote unquote get anything done for us. This is what I want you to do. I want you to look around your community. I want you to look at your brothers and your sisters. I want you to talk to your aunts and your uncles and figure out what we need in our community, if you haven't done that already. I want you to organize amongst your friends. You don't have to be Stacey Abrams. You don't have to be Tamika Mallory. You don't have to be any of those people. But you know what? Next time you sit around with your buddies drinking a brew, man, I got a grandson, I got a son, my lady got a little boy, my lady got a little girl, and these schools jacked up, man. We need to stay on top of Alderman such and such so we can get some of the funds allocated to our after-school programs and so forth and so on. Some of your smartest people have been incarcerated. Mass incarceration has decimated our community to the nth degree, right? But guess what? Some of those brothers are organized beyond belief. I had a late cousin, one of my favorite cousins, Vincent Williams, $50,000 a day in drug money. He got out of the penitentiary, opened up his own call center. He's making $100K a year. Profit. After he paid all his people, he's putting $100K in his pocket. You dig? So utilize those guys. Let's see what you do, how you utilize those people. Ask them for the organizational skills. Ask them how they put things together. And then you employ them with a corporation that you, with a clean name, create. And then you get funding for the United States federal government and you make your community better. That's what you do. See, enough of standing around him and horn and complaining and jaw jacket, talking about what's not going to happen. Look, I would argue that most people in our community don't even have a passport. So you're not going anywhere. So if you're not going anywhere, you need to make sure this is the best possible place for you. Period. Look, I don't consider myself American. I consider myself a citizen of the world. Our late great ancestor Paul Robeson said that, and they took his passport. They ain't taking mine, I don't think, but they took his passport, stopped him from traveling all around the world because that's their propaganda that slows down America. See, America don't like your black ass, but America definitely needs your black ass. See what I mean? See, it's a complex. You know what? America is like that girl who really don't like you, or that man who you support and they really don't like you, but you pay their bills. So they need you. You see what I'm saying? So that's the way we must operate. A lot of us don't have any inkling to leave. A lot of people, there've been scholars way smarter than me. They've written papers and they talked about, hey, this is our land. This is where our history starts. But I question it by saying this. If you start your history with slavery, anything that's done that's outside of slavery is an improvement. And in layman's term, the great Malcolm X, our ancestor, the great Malcolm X said, if a knife is 9 inches deep into your back, if you pull it out 6, you think you got improvement, but you really don't have improvement. What you just have is 3 inches of knife in your back, and you still believing that you need to suffer in that amount, and you don't. You never do. This is why, if we're going to stay here, and most of us are, let's not even pretend, oh man, I'm sick of this country, man. These crackers getting on my nerves. Now, you ain't going nowhere. Yeah, it's only want to move out the hood, so I know you're not moving out the country. But if you're going to stay here, you need to make this thing as palatable as possible. And that's how we're going to do this going forward. Because my black ass more than likely ain't leaving either. My black ass is not going to leave America either unless I have a tremendous opportunity, which I wish one come along, and I'm working. You see my face. I'm doing it right now, working towards getting the hell up out of here. But, even then, I doubt if I would leave. But we must organize. And the people who've listened to my show before, this is almost a broken record, but I have to keep saying it because we see for years, my friends and my family members was like, yo, B, why you so angry? Why you hate white people? And I just knew what they were capable of because history tells me that people are capable of destroying you, even if you don't want to be destroyed. You see what I'm saying? Even if you don't think they will. And people always say, well, not all white people are that. Well, not all anybody. All black people good. There's some people that are closely related to me that I wouldn't trust with, as far as I could throw a brick underwater. So to be foolish enough to believe all is something good or bad, that would just make you foolish. Period. Full stop. That's all that does. You are foolish if you believe all of anything is one thing. But I'll tell you this, it's not enough of those good white people that y'all always remind me of to protect us. And this is why watching this insurrection, watching this siege of the United States, attempted siege of the United States government, and knowing your history in regards to siege of the United States government and how we always end up over, like as my mother would say, the shit end of the stick. This is time for us to get a lot of things in order. Because, see, you're in a position in the United States of America today to understand that you don't have to accept this. See, when you're dealing with an entity that really doesn't like you and does everything to destroy you, well, it is your choice, it is your option, it is your responsibility to protect every man, woman, and child in your community. You do not, your neighbors don't have kids. You have kids. Your girlfriend or boyfriend or significant other does not have a kid. You and her or him have children. Period. See, that's the problem. You keep thinking people in our community, are in this alone. Every time somebody hurts one of somebody else's kids that you know, they hurt one of your children. Take on that mentality. Another thing, we must get our health, our mental and physical health in order. Again, we must get our mental and physical health in order. You can buck, oh man, I don't have to do it this way. I don't give a damn how you do it. You need to move your big ass, like my big. I used to be this big, now I'm this big, and then by the end of the summer I'll be this big, and that's your goal. We can no longer be heavy. Oh man, your woman feeding you good. Your woman is killing you, or your man is killing you, sister. My man cooking, he killing you. As I stated on Black Love Friday last night, shout out to Big Illinois. He was the soundtrack of the joint, him and Knox. But as I stated on the show last night, it's amazing how you will go to a funeral of somebody who had a stroke due to eating too much pork chops, hamburgers, and pizza, and all that. They had a stroke because of the high blood pressure and so forth and so on, right? And then you go to the repast, right? After you get from the repast, you go eat the same food that put your relative in the ground. We're going to cut that out. Do you have to cut out everything? No, you don't have to listen to me at all. But what you need to do is substantially cut back on it, because it has been proven that this is what's killing you. This ain't me. I'm not making this up. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. Well, if they start lining up the smartest people in the world, you know how long it'll take for them to get to Brian D. Williams Sr.? But I do understand that if we don't get our health in order, we'll kill ourselves. We will kill ourselves. So, and then the mental health thing, we're going to get out of this judgmental space. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get out of this judgmental space. So that way our friends and family members can come to us and have conversations with us about the things that are stressing them out. See, if you want to sit around and judge folks, that's your hard ass luck. I don't have time for it anymore. No one really has time to be judged. No one likes that. There's nobody in the history of the earth that'll be like, man, I'll sure wish people start talking about me behind my back, because that just makes me happy. That it was said by nobody in the history of the world. So, but until we start doing those things, we will continue to suffer the consequences of the foolishness that we deal with on a regular basis. You got white nationalism attacking us. You got the food industry attacking us. You got the government attacking us. You got the police attacking us. You got each other attacking us. See, part of that is, again, what we're putting in our bodies. Think about it like this. And my man Mike said this last night. At one point in your life, if you're my age, you may have eaten McDonald's once a month or every other month. You ate fast food rarely. You got a whole generation of people raised on hot crunchy curls, chicken McNuggets, and Big Macs and foolishness like that, and 4 for $4 and Popeye's chicken and stuff like that. When Popeyes used to be when your mother had a whole lot to do and she couldn't get home and cook, and the kids would be hungry, or your parents, depending on your living situation, right? So when you're living like that, the food may, even though it's poisonous, and it's still poisonous, it may be conducive to what you need at that moment. So you're dealing with it, right? You're dealing with it. There it is. That's how we living right now. Okay, cool. But at this point, everybody's eating fast food every day. So we need to get our health in order. See, when you start putting all this ravenous meat in your system, oh, what a bad move that was. And you start putting this meat in your body, it affects your mind. Remember a few years back, a couple decades ago, mad cow disease, when they start feeding cows, and people start going crazy. The cows start going crazy. Whatever you put in your body, you become that. You are what you eat. So it might be in your best interest to cut down on meat and start eating vegetables and plants and things like that more. It's your choice. If I'm saying something that sounds crazy, then it sounds crazy. Then you keep moving, you keep living, and you keep waking up them aches and pains. You keep being drained, and you keep not having good sleep. And you keep doing it that way, right? Once you realize that, you'll start thinking better. Once you start thinking better, you start doing better. Once you start doing better, you will realize things like, for all intents and purposes, Stacey Abrams and the black community just saved the United States of America's ass. Again, if these people were crawling up the walls of the Capitol building because they assumed they got cheated, just imagine had they won. Just imagine had they won. Just imagine had they won. So now you got people like PayPal Chase, Twitter. Oh, we're backing up off the Republican Party. We're not going to send any more money to them because if we send the money to them, we funding terrorism and da 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 da. So, at what point did you not realize that this dude standing on stage telling people to grab them by the pussy? Excuse me, ladies. Telling people to remember he told, if you got protesters, don't be so nice to them. Police bang their head on the car and put them in. Mexicans are drug dealers and rapists. Black people live in shithole countries. Remember all that? At what point did that not let you know that this might not be a good guy to hit your, as they say, hit your wagon to? At what point did you not say, whoa, this might not be a good move. This might not be the move. See, but again, the reason they're not doing that in the name of right and wrong, that's called the bottom line, right? The reason that's called the bottom line is because guess who powers Twitter? 27% of the people that's on Twitter look like me in America. Black Twitter had Twitter popping every day. The superpowers things and other things that lead to us participating on Twitter, right? That's all it is. When people like that look like me and you get things popping, the whole world get popping. Period. There are no exceptions. That's not the except when no. We got Facebook popping, we got Twitter popping. We spend more money as a community and create more revenue than some nations. So when you realize, hold it, y'all will slow down publicly giving money, because let's not be foolish enough to believe that chasing those people are not going to give these people money anyway, because they lobbying for them. When you're lobbying for them, you need favors. When you need favors, you're going to continue to pay people, grease palms, and so forth and so on. This is the American way. But when you're doing that, when you realize, hold it, y'all at least pretended to slow down, what else are we capable of? And that's when you take over. See, you got people like Stacey Abrams, who, with the spirit of our ancestors, the Africans that were enslaved, said, nah, she took 10 days. According to Stacey, she took 10 days. Okay, I got 10 days. I'm going to lick my wounds for 10 days. She came out, hit the ground running, and galvanized the entire South. Do y'all understand that? See, here's something that people from the North and potentially the West don't even realize. The North, the Northeast, Midwest, we don't realize the majority of people that look like me and you live in the South. Now, we live, the brokest people in this country that looks like me and you live in Los Angeles or the LA County. They live in Cook County, live in Milwaukee, they live in Detroit, they live in Cleveland, they live in New York and New Jersey, right? But the majority of the people that look like me and you live below the Mason-Dixon line. So Stacey attacked the entire country by galvanizing her folks and put her folks in position to win. So this is why when you have people standing around talking about black people don't ever vote, please explain to me, if black people don't ever vote, explain this to me. When has 13% of anything been a lot? Because that's what we make up, 13 to 15% of the population. 13 to 15% of the population, every party in regards to government wants our vote. That lets you know we're doing something. We're moving the needle. If you can get all of those people, think about it like this. Only 82 million people voted for Joe Biden, and 74 million people voted for Donald J. Trump, right? 40 million people that look like me and you, well, 45 million people that are descendants of enslaved people in the United States of America. So if we're not doing anything, why are you focusing on 15% of the population when you could be working on the rest? Because we do those things. See, nobody gives a damn if you're not doing things. Nobody. Because see, we go in one direction every time, right there. And if we can get 10%. The dude himself, Donald J. Trump, he said, if I could just get, we have 13%. If I could get up to 20, I'll win. And he would have been right. And if you realize your power, then, and only then, you will be able to maximize your power. So PayPal and Chase and Twitter and Facebook, even the dude at Facebook, he got so much money. He even told Jeff Bezos they disconnected from people because they don't want you, the number one consumer in America, to withdraw your dollars. Because look, this is the way it works. You can make a company $20 million a year, and they projecting $25 million a year. If they just make that same 20, they count it as a loss. They count it as a loss. Even though they maintain that $20 million profit margin, they consider it a loss. That's why they placating and kissing ass and pandering to our community, pretending that they actually give a damn. Because if we actually gave a damn, we wouldn't have got here in the first place, right? So this is how you realize the ballot or the bullet. You can fight. You don't need a bullet at this point. Because how can you possibly fight a country that provides you with food, water, and shelter? But you can fight with your money. You don't have to order from Amazon. You don't have to take your ass in Walmart. You don't have to do any of those things that they need you so they can make, like Jeff Bezos made. Think about it like this. Jeff Bezos had a divorce last year, people. Well, the year before last. He gave his wife $40 billion. During the pandemic alone, the man made $71 billion. And that's from March to September. From March to September, Jeff Bezos made $71 billion. You want some of that to walk out of the door? So I'm going to play the game. So since they're playing the game, they're pretending this is your time to step up and say, well, since you kissing ass, I'm going to need some of this. And I'm going to need some of this. This is why we must organize and get things in order. This is why it's to let's make a pact. Today is our very last day saying, I'm not going to work with this guy because I don't like him. You cannot afford to not like anybody and not work with anybody because you don't like them. You're not going to have a baby by him. You're not going to marry him. You're not going to marry your daughter, your son. They're going to get you out of an impoverished situation. They're going to enhance your academic situation for your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, your cousins. That's what they're going to do. So it's not about if I like said Trotter. It's not about that. It's about if I am going to put myself in the best possible position to be as successful as possible, and maybe said Trotter can help me. Nah, I don't like the way he move and shake. I don't really like him. I don't like the way he gets down. But guess what? He's going to help me, and I'm going to help him. And guess what? Then we can, once we're sitting on Easy Street as a community, by and large, because there will always be poor people. There will always be working class people. There will always be all those people. But once we get to that point, then we can sit back on the beach sipping Mai Tais and doing things of that nature. We are not married to any party. The Republican Party, they tell you the Republican Party freed the slaves. First of all, I'm not a fucking slave. I'm not a descendant of a slave. I'm a descendant of a person who was forced into indentured servitude. My ancestors were enslaved. Slave is not a determination of who I am. Sorry. Miss me with that. Stop accepting. We descendants of slaves. No, you're not. You're descendants of prisoners of war of the United States of America. They captured you, they kidnapped you, they brought you over, and they stripped you of everything. They attempted to strip you of everything that is possible. Period. So stop calling yourself a slave. Second and most important, you have an innate ability to overcome things. The fact that I'm smiling, well, I'm not smiling right now, but I have the ability to smile right now, knowing the things that I know, knowing what has gone on in the United States of America against my people, shows you that there's a resilience that's innately in you that you don't even realize that you have. If you don't believe me, go call your sister, talk to your moms, talk to your grandma, talk to your aunts, talk to your homegirl, talk to your lady, and listen to some of the things that they've gone through, and they'll still look out for you. That's in you too, because you're a part of them. All of us got here through women, so you have that ability, but you don't even realize it. And I'm gonna ask the women at the end of the show to do me a gigantic favor. Please look out for your boy. Now, let's talk about this fictitious impeachment situation. Donald Trump is going to be impeached for the second time, potentially. What exactly does that mean? Nothing. Don't mean anything for you and me. See, I'm gonna need my brothers and sisters to start me out with this conversation about impeachment and we and us and our. We, people that look like me, are gonna make sure our shit is together. Excuse my language. So us can be better. And I know, look, if you're looking for an English program, ease on down the road. But those are the we's and us's we need to be concerned with. Because, hey, this white people stuff, man. See, because you got Joe Biden on TV. We've never seen anything like this. Yes, we have. Y'all turned dogs on my father. You know what I mean? See, that's the thing. That was so long ago. My father. So that means I'm directly connected. I mean, you did it to my mom. So this we and us and we did it. No. We need to galvanize our community so us can get things in order. That's the we and us. They brought a Confederate flag into the Capitol building. Brothers and sisters, which one of those flags did you any good? The Confederate flag or the United States flag? Because, okay, let's go with the propaganda they tell us. Because in the North, it was cool. I live in Chicago. Chicago is a synonym. It's the dictionary definition, and that's a lie. If you've never been to Chicago, this is one of the most racist cities in the United States of America, hands down. There is no place. There's no place in the South that you can say, oh, no, it's way worse. No. So they bought a Confederate flag into a building that has never done what it lived up to the promises that they told you to do. And you talk about this is an embarrassment. Now, what is an embarrassment is you didn't get your 40 acres, 1 mule, and $100. Some of us got it, and then they took it from some of our ancestors. Once they cultivated the land, the government came in. Shout out to Andrew Jackson, piece of trash. Yeah, that's who did it. Indian killer Andrew Jackson. And then they want to talk about we're going to impeach this dude because of the insurrection. If you're serious about insurrection, you do what Thomas Jefferson did. The vice president started an insurrection. See, got that back then. The vice president was the dude with the second most votes. Thomas Jefferson saw that my man was trying to overthrow the government. Pah! Right there in the White House lawn. Yeah. Open the book, bro. Just open the book. You'll find out. See, that's how you handle insurrections. That's how you handle those things. Because this conversation, what is the conversation? The FBI is rounding up the people who attacked the Capitol. Yeah, they rounded them up. You know what you could have did? You could have sent the National Guard in there. Let those people run amok in that building, right? Let them do all the destruction. Because when they came out, you could have had the National Guard surround that building, and now we're going to see what's up. See, everybody, oh, man, if that would have been us. Look, man, why even have that conversation? If my uncle had breasts and a uterus, he'd be my aunt. So all this if, woulda, coulda, it's not going to happen. But they're rounding them up. See, this guy, he was an Olympic swimmer. They should take his medals. Man, really? Let me tell you why this is a joke. If you ever go to Congress, which it's going to be a long time before they letting folks in there for probably with the COVID and with the foolishness. It's going to be a long time before they letting people in there. But if you go there, you'll realize that it's insanely difficult to find anybody who you don't know where they are. You got police officers letting people in. And these people are going directly to other people's offices, right? Now you got government officials that can't find congressman such and such's office, but you got people who just randomly ran into this building and went right to people. One of the Congress people, I think it was, no, it wasn't Nancy Pelosi. It was somebody, I can't think of her name right now, and it's really inconsequential. She ran to her office getting ready to hit the panic button. The panic button had been ripped out. These people were led into that building. These people did this on purpose. This was not a coup, or this was not a random act of violence and a coup. This was a coup d'etat. When you got people on the inside and the outside helping you overthrow things. Because if they were serious, tell you what, you don't think, if you don't believe what I'm saying, one of you Billy badasses, I got a couple homies, a couple people who listen that they participate in nefarious activities. And I'm not ashamed. They my friends. They my buddies. They my supporters. But have some of you in the Crips and the Bloods, or some of the GDs and the Vice Lords here in Chicago, or whatever gang is in your area, have some of y'all run up to the Capitol and just run towards the building. Matter of fact, run towards City Hall in your town. Watch what happens. It's not gonna end well. And if it does end well, they're not gonna wait to arrest you. They're gonna arrest you on the spot. Let's just say they had a shame with strength, and nothing happens violently. You get arrested on the spot. So all this nonsense about Joe Biden on TV talking about this and that and doing all this hemming and hawing, and Donald Trump not going to the inauguration, and we need to not have an inauguration because we scared. Have it. I wasn't going nowhere. I've never watched one. Not even the brother Barack. I'm gonna have a better job, I swear, to have a better job than HRap be on Built for This Network and get paid $1 million pension when I get due doing this, whether I do it good or bad, and my wife get a $500,000 pension, whether I do it good or bad. Amen. Who watching that? Well, a lot of people watching, but I don't care. I don't care. You know, just to show you that this is a game being played, and they keep tricking you into believing that they're white and you're black, and this is why this is happening. No, this is a run at power. This is a run at power. They get dumbass poor white people to buy into their ideology, and they screw them too. Don't believe me? Watch this. Anybody feel like driving up to Flint with me to get a glass of water? Oh, no, you don't want to do that, do you? Because man, Barack Obama went up there and faked. He took a midget sip of the water. See, it's good. Nah, man. Excuse me, a little people sip. Midget is not a good word anymore. But seriously. Seriously. That's all I'm saying. Where's the end game? What is the end game, excuse me? There is no end game. And this is why you need to stop participating in the game. The way you win this game is don't play at all. So you galvanize your people, and you do the best you can. And you don't have to hurt anybody. You don't have to disrespect anybody. You don't have to disregard anyone in order to get what you want. You just galvanize your troops and create pockets or communities in which you can enrich each other. Community gardens, a corner store, going to PTA meetings, going to city council meetings. See, this is the thing. Everybody's doing things on Zoom, everything on Zoom now. So that means you can go right to your alderman's office or call them, or you can get 25 or 30 or 50 or 100 people and have them send an email directly to the alderman or whoever who's representing you. Y'all gonna change the times of these city council meetings. There will no longer be those in the middle of the day. And you know why they're not there to no longer be in the middle of the day? Because when they're in the middle of the day, I don't know what's going on. And if you don't fix this, seeing how we all at home right now, Mr. Representative, you got 2 years. Mr. State Senator, you got 6 years. See, understanding civics is half the battle. Because again, man, people are not gonna leave. Stop with we need to back up and go back to Africa. You can't speak English well. How you gonna go to a non-English speaking country? Oh, well, that's why our ancestors are. I would love to have a passport that said I'm a citizen of Ghana, citizen of South Africa, citizen of Ethiopia. I would really love that. But seeing how most of us are not going to do that, we need to fix our backyard over here in the with the United Snakes of America. I said that, snakes. But if you don't galvanize and put things together, it's a moot point. Because if you're waiting on these people to do things the right way, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They're never going to do it the right way. Ever. The Flint thing is the greatest example in the history of the United States of America that the powers that be will never do the right thing unprovoked. Period. They will never do the right thing unprovoked. Because if you think they're going to do the right thing unprovoked, why the water in Flint isn't correct. Now, the governor who authorized that poisonous water to be pumped into the poor communities of Flint, Michigan, because the part on the rich side of town, they drinking clear water. Their water is crystal. Why isn't the Attorney General of the United States of America putting that former governor in shackles right now? Because that's a criminal act. Because that lead in that water is going to affect those young people for the next 50 years. It may even affect their children. So you mean to tell me we live in the United States of America where people are forced to drink poisonous water, bathe in poisonous water, lead-filled water, and nobody's paid for it? That's because we keep complaining laterally. Big Illinois, Chief Rocker, DJ Knox, Rhonda, April Showers. That's who we complaining to. We complaining laterally. We need to come together, vote somebody in our group as the spokesperson, right? Look, all you have to do is make a phone call. You're on social media all day. They tweet towards your state senator. Then get a group of you can go online and get a petition, create a petition, and have your people sign it and send it to these people. See the good old fashioned octave. The easiest way, the most obvious way possible to get change is the way to get change. But we're not doing that. But until we come together and get the emotional thing, get the emotional component out of it. See, because you don't like him because he in the Nation of Islam, and you don't like her because she's a Jehovah's Witness, and you don't like this guy because he goes to a super church, and you don't like this guy because all those other entities don't help your little church. But if the ultimate goal is to help each other, again, if the ultimate goal is to eat, and you got bread, and I have meat, and I have vegetables, and this person got a frying pan and some pots and some silverware, alone, everybody stops. Together, you make Thanksgiving dinner. You see what I'm saying? Stop judging people and looking at what people are and are not doing. Stop judging them on that pretense and start judging them on the fact that, are you willing to get your hands dirty, 10 fingers, 10 toes in the mud? Let's get it popping. That's it. Another thing that's happening is the people in Congress. Well, a lot of people are acknowledging that this was an insurrection. That was a treasonous act a week ago, Wednesday. A lot of people are identifying that in Congress and state house and things of that nature. The other guys up there drawing false equivalencies. Well, this is just like with the George Floyd thing. No, it wasn't. It was nothing like the George Floyd thing. It was nothing like the George Floyd thing. Because someone stood on George Floyd's neck for almost 9 minutes. And then, in response to that, the whole world stood up and said, don't do that anymore. Versus a group of people listen to a tyrannical leader who also committed a treasonous act, and the people in government who were part of this, the police who were part of this, all those people are supposed to be arrested because you know what? They arrested a reporter in Minnesota with the George Floyd situation. How many people got arrested? It's a young brother in Missouri right now when Mike Brown got murdered by a cop. It's a young brother in Missouri right now who lit a garbage can on fire, and he's up on charges. He copped out because that's what poor people do. They cop a plea. He copped out to 10 years in the penitentiary for arson and inciting a riot. All he did was arson and theft. He took a Snickers and set a garbage can on fire. So how's this like the George Floyd thing? How's this like the Mike Brown thing? How's this like the Freddie Gray thing? It's not, because none of those people are incarcerated. I mean, four people died, and a few dozen people are incarcerated. It's more people incarcerated in Missouri in the Mike Brown situation. It was more people incarcerated for the Freddie Gray situation. It was more people incarcerated in Minnesota for the Big George Floyd situation. You see what I'm saying? So when you try to draw the false equivalency of someone being murdered for no reason at all versus a gang of hillbilly henchmen running towards the state building and starting an insurrection and attacking the United States federal government, it's an insult to your intelligence. See, but again, we allow C-SPAN to feed us this. We allow MSNBC to feed us this, CNN, and those people are just actors. They're actors. You want the news? Go to C-SPAN. They don't have a dog in the fight. They're gonna tell you what's happening. It's traditional news. That's what they're doing now. But Don Lemon, really? Don Lemon, you really believe Don Lemon is giving you the real story? You outside of your damn mind. You are literally outside of your mind if you think Don Lemon is gonna keep it funky with you. He's not. This is the most important part of the conversation today. I need our folks to stop being active participants in our demise. I'm gonna say that again. I'm gonna need my community to stop being active participants in our demise. And I don't mean black on black crime, because I don't believe in the concept of black on black crime. Do black people hurt each other? Damn right they do. But everybody else hurt each other as well. So that's just the human experience. Crime is about proximity. You don't go to the other side of town to snatch purses. You don't go to the other side of town to get in arguments with other people. You do not go to your neighboring state to get in an argument with the people. Like, I live in Indiana. I don't go to Indiana. I've never had an argument with somebody in Indiana, but I've had plenty of arguments with people in Chicagoland area, because those are people who I put myself around. But we're gonna have to, seeing how we are the largest group that are active on social media, I'm gonna need us to stop sharing them stupid ass videos, the fight videos, and the girl who's drunk and falling out all over herself, and the booty shaking videos. For real, the booty shaking videos have gotten outraged. Look, man, I'm a grown man. I'm a heterosexual man. I love a woman's body just as much as anybody, probably even more. But we have to create a standard. We have to recreate a standard. We have to revive a standard. Do I want to see women gyrate? Hell yeah, I do. But I don't want to scroll up and down Facebook every 2 minutes, the Bust It Open Champion Challenge, and let me see your booty shake, and TikTok. Family, knock it off. See, what you don't realize is these images are being shown all over the world. And this is what creates people the ability or the mental capability to assume that you're the one to be disrespected. And then you disrespect my lady, and I got to knock you out. Well, I got to hurt you to let you know that's not to be done. You disrespect my daughter, I got to hurt you. You disrespect my man's daughter, my homeboy, my cousin, my friend, I got to hurt you. So to avoid incarceration, why don't we stop doing this? Objectifying these women and making it cool. We chasing the bag. Enough with the bag chasing, okay? There's other ways to chase the bag. Is it? Am I telling people who are exotic dancers don't do what you do? Just don't show the whole world. Just do it at work. For real. I watched. I watched. I watched this show called 5150. It's by this comedian from Chicago named Corey Hope. Me and his paths have crossed 1 or 2 times on the basketball court. One of the funniest dudes in the world in person. Funny comedian to one of the greats. If you like dark comedy, I do. I like all kinds of comedy. I can relate. But when you got a guy like Corey Holcomb who created a brand, 5150 is a brand. Coast to coast, border to border. Corey Holcomb is the guy, right? I watch his show faithfully every week. It's hilarious. Sometimes it's outrageous, but I enjoy it. If it's a crime to enjoy Corey Holcomb, so be it. Guilty. But due to whatever's going on in his psyche, the way he viewed things, or whatever's what have you, the homie Corey blasted one of his good friends and one of his co-hosts by the names of Zoe Williams. Zoe calls himself the voice of reason. And I don't want to go into it, but you watch one black man denigrate another, well, 2 black men live on air. Corey has an issue with another one of his friends called Ray Grady. He attacked Zoe because you can clearly see it was something else going on. And I counted 17 separate videos on YouTube today of men talking about the Corey Holcomb and Zoe Williams and Ray Grady situation. Some of these videos had 35,000, 6,500, 14,000 views. You got armchair psychiatrists talking about Corey Holcomb and talking about his inadequacies, calling him a sucker. You got all kind of derogatory things being said about Corey Holcomb. Whether they're true or not is really not my issue. My issue is, why must you, the podcaster, the what do they call it? The influencer. Why must you make your money off Corey Holcomb and Zoe Williams' pain? The reason I'm disappointed in Corey is this. You had a right to have disagreements. On Tuesday, me and Big Illinois had a big blow up 2 weeks ago. But me and Big Illinois have been rocking since 82, 83 or something like that. If we had an issue, we would have handled it. It was a disagreement, it flared up, and that was it. Then we talked, and it was over. But at no point would me and Big Illinois argue on these airlines, on these airwaves, to the destruction of our friendship. And that's what it looks as if Zoe and Corey may have done. Look, people are human beings. Human beings happen, blow up. You get emotional. You feel like you're being attacked. I'm not telling you not to have disagreements, but we don't need to do this in public spaces. If you have an issue with somebody going forward, your girlfriend, your baby mama, your lady, your wife, your husband, your cousin, your friend, or whatever it is, friends, families, relatives, or partners. Don't do this in public anymore, people. We're better than that. We're better than that. Stop being a contributor to your own trauma. That's what I'm saying in a nutshell. These 2 grown men, one of them 49, one of them 52, they wasn't having a demonstrative argument, but that was an argument or discussion that needed to be had at home on the phone. That way you could yell, scream, cuss, MF each other to death. You could do whatever you want to do and then come back the next week. Because the way the world is designed, if the homie Zoe and Corey fixes this, which I assume they will, because see, you can clearly see it was love in the conversation. They just having a difficult time. But the way the world is designed presently, nobody's going to say, man, that was a good deal, man. Well, most people won't say, that was a good deal, man. Them brothers had a disagreement and they fixed it. People are going to say, one of them is weak. People will not acknowledge that these two brothers had a disagreement on air, went somewhere, quietly discussed it, and fixed it. People will only talk about this dude is weak because he allowed Corey, or Corey is wrong. They both were wrong. But we're doing it. We're doing the dance. We're doing the dance. And this is the part I told you, sisters. It's a lot on black women's plate. I know that. I'm watching Stacey Abrams. I watch my mom, watch my aunts. It's a lot on black women's plate. Creating us, caring for us, feeding us, procreating with us. It can be an arduous task. I understand. But I'm going to need the sisters to do me a favor and raise your standards. See, I grew up in a world where neat and clean cut was the deal, was the order of the day. And the thing is, I'm not attacking women because they just loving the man that's in front of them. But I'm going to need you to start elevating these brothers, because obviously the brothers ain't got enough damn sense to do it themselves. Now, there's some brothers out there that's looking at me, oh man, not me. Well, I'm not talking to you then, am I? But there's some brothers out there that don't understand that your pants off your ass is not cool. But the sisters are so dope, they've actually accepted madness. They've accepted pants off your ass. Only time a sister should be seeing your ass is if it's in an intimate situation, or you coming in from work and you about to take a shower. There's only time anybody in the world should see your drawers. But see, I come from an era, and I'm not even a clean cut guy, not at all. I get my hair cut, that's about it. I'm washing my ass, but I'm not shirt and tie, preppy and nothing. But I remember a time in my life where if you wasn't very neat and very put together, you wasn't getting any attention from the sisters. I'm gonna need the sisters to go back to that. Women, y'all don't realize it, and what they call it. I'm spilling the tea. You don't have to have a shirt and tie on. You don't have to have the finest clothes on. You just have to look like an adult, or look like a person who wants to be an adult. I'm gonna need the sisters to train their daughters. I'm gonna need the brothers to train their daughters. I'm gonna need the homies, whoever, the cousins, the uncles, the aunts, to train their daughters to not accept slouchy, ass off the pants. I'm trying not to curse, but you know what I mean. Seriously, man, because Dave Chappelle cracked this joke. No, Cat Williams cracked the joke. He said, I don't like Alizé, but women do. And Dave Chappelle cracked the joke. He was like, the only reason men buy houses is because women like houses. He's like, if you could live in a cardboard box and still get a woman, it'd be a bunch of dudes living in cardboard boxes. Now that's extreme, obviously. But what I'm saying is, you guys are the key motivators. And no innuendo, no hinting, no, you should know. Start saying, you would look nice in this. You would be shocked at the fact that a woman saying, you should wear it like this, and say, you look nice. Brothers would start doing that. I'm telling you. I'm one of those brothers. Because back in the day, I started getting haircuts on a regular basis because the chicks, the girls at the high school, well, my man said try to keep his hair cut, and said try was popular with the women. So I'm like, wait a minute, I'm gonna start getting my hair cut every day. I'm starting getting my hair, and so I'm at my man Patrick Chris' house every week, Let me up, P. Look out, take care of me. You know, I never have elevated to the suit thing because that was never my get down. That was never, ever, ever my get down. And I wear a shirt and tie when it's appropriate. If we go to a professional situation, I wear a shirt and tie. If we go to a dinner, an elegant dinner, I wear a shirt and tie. I'm relaxed after that. You know, I'm a bit, well, you know, rock me a dashiki or some t-shirt or whatever. But I'm gonna be relaxed. But the key is when I'm going to be seen, I'm going to look like a man. Now this COVID thing got your boy out here a little bushy. But twin Ron, Tone, and my nephew, they've received thousands of dollars from me. And I'm gonna need the ladies to raise their visual standards, if nothing else. See, because when you realize the power that you wield with the visual standard, then you can start suggesting or asking young men, what do you want to do? Because women are natural organizers. So what do you want to do, boyfriend? What do you want to do? And then he'll, oh, I want to do this. And a sister will go get all the information you need to go get it. Well, here you go. What's this? If you do this, this will put you on the path of your dreams. And what we'll do is talking to somebody this week, and they mentioned that once you secure your nuclear family, that's the foundation of the community. So you taking care of this man emotionally and mentally. You're sick of these white folks mistreating you. You're sick of these people disrespecting you. You're sick of this. You're sick of this hard time. Well, you can do this because you're good at that. The reason people think I'm this arrogant, tyrannical jackass of a person because of my tone, right? But I'm not. It's just, I literally believe if I walked into an office, a surgeon, into a surgery, if I watch somebody do heart surgery like 4 times, I'm telling you, I believe I can do it. And that's because of a woman called my mom. And I know it works because instilling that confidence definitely works. Because my mother was the most important woman in my life at one point. And if she told me I could do it, I could do it. I remember one time, said to try to probably fall off his couch at this point, listen to the show. I got all A's and B's, and I was feeling good about myself. And I took my grades home, and I proudly handed my grades to my mom. And I said, "You proud, ain't you?" She was like, "No." I was like, "What? These the grades you've been asking for? I got 4 A's and a B." She said, "You the only one that think you could do it. I knew you could do it." And that meant something to me. And if you don't believe me, my son, who's a carbon copy of me, probably 25, 30 years later, his grade, my son did the same thing with grades as I did. I was on him, oh man, you're not stupid. You're not stupid. I did the exact same thing my mom did, to the point where BJ had A's, all A's, and a B. His grades were so good. My daughter has never had issues with her grades. He looked at his report card. He didn't even look at the name on the report card. He just opened up and looked at it and saw all A's and B's. And he closed it. And then he went to the other one thinking, okay, well, this is the C and D one. This is mine. And that one had all A's too. So he looked at the name and now his chest propped up and he walked towards me and handed me his grades. And I told him exactly what my mother told me. And I never had an issue with my son with his grades again. So ladies, if you start telling these dudes that this is what you want, just visually, you can start with visually. Visually, this is what I want. And I don't care how nice he look, or it might be an off day. See him a couple times, and if he looking like that all the time, then that's when you throw the suggestion out. But this ass off the pants, this slouchy look, we gonna get rid of this. Brothers, this is the hard part. Brothers, if her ass is out, you may need not to talk to her. Seriously. I'm about to use a crude term. I hope I don't offend none of the sisters. It used to be this term called sneak home chicks. And it wasn't chicks. The word began with another letter. We run around here now, brothers of all ages, showing off sneak home chicks, man. I know you got the chest, you got the behind and all that. But if she can't spell her name and can't read her name in boxcar letters, this might not be the girl that you want to have a baby with, man. If I got the hookup is most of her conversation, again, this might not be the woman that you want to deal with, son. See, a lot of brothers out here, you can't trust these chicks. Y'all know the letter, you know the word they use. But that's because you didn't have a conversation with them. If you are laying around, man, I had to sleep with my wallet up under the pillow. And no, bruh, you 3 days older than baseball. Why you living like that? If your kids could have gone to school with this girl, or not too far behind in school with this, if they could have been in elementary school together, that might not be the woman for you, man. Of course, there are exceptions, but we're not gonna live in a world on this might be the exception. We're gonna live in a world where we're gonna have standards. If this girl could date your son or daughter in 10 years and it won't nobody say anything, that might not be the girl for you, man. You know, seriously, man. Just because she looks good, everything that looks good ain't good for you, brothers. Seriously, man. And I jokingly on Big Illinois show call myself the slime ball. And I was a slime ball at one point in my life. At one point. But I grew up, man. At one point, I got to the point where I literally went to a mirror in my house getting dressed, throwing on my glad rags, is what we used to call them. And I looked in the mirror and said, man, sit your stupid ass down. I literally said that. So, brothers, up your standards, man. Dress like you would want to, like your grandmother wanted you to dress. You would, could you go out with your grandmother looking like that? And I don't mean to the damn grocery store because she like to carry the bags. But your grandmother wouldn't, my grandmother wouldn't allow me to walk around with my pants off my ass. As a matter of fact, my grandmother didn't want me to walk around in jogger pants, which I do that all the time too. I'm stopping that. I literally got 10 million pairs of jeans and I'm running around here in blue and sweatpants all the time. Wrong. So I'm talking to myself too. This isn't an indictment against anybody. This is an indictment over the fellas and the ladies. But see, the ladies don't realize the power that they will. This is the kind of power the ladies will. And they unknowingly, some of them know they have it, but this is a reminder. Women, understand, if y'all start saying, I'm going to date the next dude that smell like pork chop grease and walk through the lion's den, it will be a bunch of dead men at the zoo. Because the pork chop, they're going to be wiping themselves down, going to the zoo, getting killed by them lions. That's just it. Understand the power that you will, sisters. If this dude want to kick it with his homies, he's not the one. All he want to do is hang out with his friends. First of all, he might be not the type of guy you want to date. And I don't know. I'm 50. I don't know one man that want to kick it with the homies more than he want to kick it with a lady. Not one. Correction. One. But he's a special case. So if you're not getting the attention from this man, 2 fingers, 1 word, you out. As my man Cedric Trollitus put in the get down in the chat room, that weed thing too. Look, man, look, do what you gonna do, man. Do what you gonna do in regards to marijuana or whatever. But I don't need to smell your weed, sister, brother, people. We have to elevate our standards. A lot of our parents smoke marijuana, we didn't even know. Grandparents may have smoked marijuana, you didn't even know it, because it's the way to do everything, right? So we're not going to do this anymore. See, the reason I'm bringing up these things, man, is because we have to create community standards. We have to put ourselves in situations in which we will enrich each other. And if you don't have the common courtesy to not come around me smelling like marijuana, to come to my house smelling like marijuana, come to a young lady's house smelling like marijuana, she might have kids. Even if the woman smokes marijuana, more than likely she's not smoking marijuana in front of them young people. So don't come to her house smelling like that. That young man, you might be cool to her, to that young person. You might be a cool guy. So pull your pants up, man. Because you don't want him, because at some point in your life, you will pull your pants up. You will. You will pull your pants up. And you won't walk around with your ass hanging out with your pants. And you won't walk around smelling like weed. So that young person, look, your kids are recording you. And they will download it onto the world. So with your ass out your pants, the little people are going to have their asses out their pants. And if you twerking, your daughter's going to twerk. I'm not saying don't do it at all, because what's done in private is done in private. That's why they call it private. You don't need to let everybody know your business. Arguing on social media, dressing like you're 16 years old, young brothers, old brothers, sisters dressing like women of the night. It's not a good look. I'm speaking to myself because, again, I got about 50 pair of damn jogger pants in rotation, and I'm finna cut it out because it's a way I need to be looking at 50. I don't need to have on jogging pants at 50 all the time. It's cool every once in a while, the weekend or something like that. But I'm about to start. I'm changing it up. I want the young brothers and the young sisters to see me with the gray joint and go, hey, that's an older guy. Relax. I want the sisters to get that same respect. But me personally, and I know a lot of these brothers in here listening, they can attest to it. That people, a lot of men will change if women raise their standards. Don't just support me because I'm your brother. Look past me. I guarantee you, you look past some of these brothers, and they could be somebody with their act together. Or talk to them, hey man, you don't never wear a shirt and tie, huh? Or you don't never look nice. What's going on with that? Oh man, I work in construction. I'm sorry. And the next time you see him, he gonna be casket shy. Trust and believe it. Y'all control the world, sisters. Y'all got the world inside of y'all here. Men act right with their daughters, with their mothers, their grandmothers. So they need to be acting right with these ladies. So ladies, don't just accept any old thing. Brothers, lust is not your friend. Lust is not your friend. Every man in here know what I'm talking about, man. Optically, it's banging. But if you ain't imagining nothing, again, I got friends in the chat room I've known since the 80s. And if we didn't look, we never at the girl with everything, with her breast busting up out her turtleneck. We never really was checking for her. With the skirt, with her drawers hanging lower than her skirt. You know what I mean? So, brothers, step your behavior up, step your presentation up. It'll help your mentality. And do like the sisters. Open a book, bruh. Open a book. The homie D Gray has made this suggestion that we need to start a book club. And maybe we need to do that now. Because Start reading, man. Start talking to your lady about something besides love and hip hop. No, I'm not even gonna go there. But with that being said, man, I'm not going to do that. I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna do that. That's a whole. I ain't got that much time on my hand. With that being said, man, we're gonna step up our standards. We're gonna galvanize our community. We are going to take on the responsibility of taking care of each other. We're gonna stop using the terminology of the people who've oppressed us, black on black crime, hoes, bitches. Excuse me. We're gonna stop using that N-word. For real. We're gonna stop using that N-word, son. The N-word got to go, man. See, because that's why you can shoot another brother. Because that N-word didn't piss me off. I'm gonna go get that N-word. But if you start saying brother, it's harder to shoot somebody when you put brother. It is. Just try it, man. We're gonna cut down on this madness. We're gonna get rid of this foolishness. We're gonna support each other. And we're not gonna support each other because you believe in what I believe. I'm gonna support you because you look like me. Period. With that being said, man, this is it, man. I'll talk to y'all in 168 hours. Tomorrow, I got DJ Mukadeen on. Later on, we got D Great. Monday morning, you got the #1 Chief Rocker Choice. Oh, you got Raider Kev tomorrow as well. I mean, Raider. Yeah, Raider Kev. I think it's Raider Kev. Monday morning, you got #1 Chief Rocker Choice. Tuesday morning, you got Microwave. Tuesday evening, you got DJ Mad Knox. You got me, Big Illinois, and Joe from Houston. Tuesday night. Then you got Emma, Red Beauty, DJ Red Beauty. Then you got Mandelion and his wife, Girly Girl, New Max, Tasty Talk. Wednesday morning, you got D Great again. Then you got Deacon Dale in the afternoon, and the triumphant return of the Backyard Podcast. That's Big Illinois joint. And me, him, excuse me, Big Illinois. Big Illinois, Kim, Anu, Dre, and myself. I didn't want to put myself first because I'm not the host of that show. So put myself first, make it seem like I host the show and I don't. Thursday morning, you got #1 Chief Rocker again. Thursday afternoon, you got DJ Mad Knox. The couch potatoes with me, D Great and Shelly. We taking a hiatus. We're trying to figure out some times. So that's gonna be off for a little while. We'll figure it out. Friday, you got Microwave again. You got D Great again. You got DJ Mad Knox again. You got Big Illinois again. And in about an hour, Big Illinois be on his hip hop joint. These stupids on hiatus. But like I said, 66 and a half hours from right now. 168 hours in a week. 166 and a half hours from now, I'll be back on with Build and Destroy. And as you know, salute to Karen Hunter. Salute to Combat Jack. And as I say every week, dream those dreams and man up a woman up and live those dreams. Because life without dreams flows in black and white. Life with dreams flows in technicolor and surround sound. I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all. I usually don't do this, but I am going to do it today. I want to shout out to Rhonda S., Big Illinois, RC, #1 Chief Rocker, Jerry Vern, Sabrina, Tanya Kelly, April Showers. April, you have to send me the times for your shows so I can announce your shows as well. MCDE, I got Sabrina. I got the homie D Great. I got Joe from Houston in the chat room. I got Moni. I got Sister Black Swan. And in the chat room, please, again, before I log off, I need y'all to do me a favor. Go to YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube page. The link I just put in there, I'm going to put the link in the chat room again. Do me a favor, subscribe to the YouTube page. Hit the like button. Don't cost you nothing. You ain't going to have to do nothing. Just go to the YouTube page, subscribe, hit the like button. Ain't going to cost you nothing. We're going to work these algorithms. We're going to get paid. We're going to continue to get paid. We're going to continue to build this empire. Hit the like button on Spreaker.com. And as I say every week, 2 fingers, 1 word. It's your man HRap. And